somebody if I had to. You know what I mean? If it came down to it, I was like, girl, let him go. So if you think I stole your joke, call me out. I'll meet you there. Yeah. Oh, I met Eddie Murphy at his house.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Eddie was like, bitch, you know who I am. You know me. I go back down there and slap the shit out of her. Slap that wig twisted. Florida, where a lot of my family members got gold teeth and everything. You know what I mean? Hey, beautiful, how you doing? Where you going? It's like, sir, no. I've been hit on by a crackhead.
Comedy Divas, we run this town.
Hello, and welcome to the Comedy Divas Girl Talk podcast, where we talk to funny divas from the stage to the screen to behind the scenes and everywhere in between to tell their amazing stories, because you know what? They just aren't told enough. We have a very special diva in the house tonight, but please like and subscribe. I'm Sharon B., a.k.a. Sharon Brathwaite, the founder and host. Now, let's talk about Miss Daphnique Springs. She's an actress, a writer, comedian, a digital creator, and a producer. You've seen her on HBO All Def Comedy, Jimmy Kimmel Live, BET To Get Down. She's toured with Martin Lawrence and Katt Williams. She has a social media following that is amazing. 5.4 million on Facebook, 2.6 million on TikTok, 862,000 on YouTube, and 794,000 on Instagram. I mean, come on. You've seen her work. You've seen her amazing comedy. She also produced her own special called Single Female. Please welcome Daphnique Springs.
Thank you. That was a great intro.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, you didn't even look at the card, so that was all memorization.
I'm a fan.
That felt good.
I'm a fan. I really am. We love you on Comedy Divas. We post you. We support you. We think you do amazing work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So I just like to jump in. When did you know you were funny?
A lot of people ask that question. I just felt like, to me, comedy has always been more so structured for me.
Okay.
Whereas some of my friends, like, they knew they were funny early on because they were kind of like class clowns. And no, I did my schoolwork, you know, I didn't interrupt the teacher because I was raised like that, you know what I mean? But to, you know, be a student and not be disrespectful and stuff like that. So, and I didn't roast kids. But, you know, I think out here, one time I went to a comedy show and I was like, yo, I love this. And so what I did, unlike a lot of other comedians, I took a class first.
Okay.
First, I went out there, I tried it. I said, boom, I want to do this. I'm going to stick with it. Let me take a comedy class. So within the first month or two, I had signed up for a comedy class because structure is very important to me, especially coming from my background, growing up Muslim, and also, you know, going to college and studying chemistry. So structure was always important to me. And so sometimes even when I do comedy, people, try to class clown you. I try to do relatable content that you can relate to so much that you just find it funny.
No, I mean, you just said a lot right there.
Yeah.
So where were you born and what school did you attend?
I was born in Palm Beach County, Florida, specifically Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. To my mother and my father, they were young parents, like teenage parents. Okay. So my mother got pregnant at 16. She had me a week after her 16th birthday. So we both Scorpios. And then my dad was 19. And then I said, Mom, ain't the little age a little off? And she was like, baby, it's a sweetheart law. You know what I mean? You could be within 3 years of somebody. And I said, oh, okay, because I thought you might have been a little victim. No, but she wasn't. Yeah.
And what was your childhood like?
You know what, especially with navigating Hollywood, I realized that I had an amazing childhood because I came from a place of love, growing up with love, like parents who nurtured me, spent time with me, you know what I mean? And sometimes when you come out here and you encounter other people, you realize that sometimes people have just grew up on survival. So their tactics of how they maneuver and handle things are totally different. But I grew up in a place of love with my dad. You know, we went fishing every day. You know, my mom, we went to music festivals. You know, I was her little partner. My mom's told me as an adult, she's like, if you couldn't come, I wasn't going. You know what I mean? And then we developed a friendship. And just like always, my parents both were entrepreneurs. So my dad had a photography business. So I was his assistant. So a lot of people don't know, that's how I was able to get into this sketch stuff so hard, because I had already knew how to work cameras early on. That's why I'm good at directing people. I don't do the camera, hold the camera, but I can direct you, but I can also also sometimes I'll shoot other people. If I need the cameraman to be in something, I can shoot the shot and everything, because I was my father's assistant. So he taught me about framing, taught me about, like, you know, you ever have somebody take a picture and you be like, why you all the way over there? Now I'm this little in the picture. So a lot of that stuff, I was his assistant. So we used to do weddings and photo shoots and stuff like that. So I learned camera stuff early on. And the entrepreneur part really came in with that. And also my mother, she used to own vending machines.
Okay.
And little bubblegum machines. And I used to, if I didn't eat up most of the bubblegum, but we used to restock everything. So learning how to do all that stuff at such a young age kind of brought me back to LA to be fearless. But a lot of my childhood photos when I was a little kid, like 2, is here in Los Angeles. So I always knew I could make it in this city. I've still got a long ways to go, but I always knew this was the city I could come to because my mother is originally from Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, my grandmother first moved here in the 60s. And then she left and then she came back, I think more so like around like the late 70s or early 80s.
Was she part of the migration from the South? A lot of people.
Yeah, she's originally from the South. She's originally from Ocilla, Georgia. That's my mother's side of the family. And my father's side of the family is from Waycross, Georgia. So a lot of Georgia roots, even though I was born in Florida. But you know, Georgia people like, oh, I'm moving out of Georgia. I'm going to Florida. It's the big city, you know, and ain't nothing big about it.
That's hilarious. Wow, your hustling is in your blood. Like your parents both taught you that drive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I remember coming out here one summer, I was 13 to LA, and my grandmother, when I came this time, her husband had bought her a hot dog stand. So she had a hot dog stand before it was popular amongst the Hispanic people. You know how a lot of Hispanic people had a hot dog stand? Yeah. My grandmother had one in Inglewood in front of Kmart. They used to let her be out there. And when I came out here, I was like, Grandma, you got a real business. Like, we can make some real money. I was like, so I told my grandmother, because I was always thinking ahead. I said, Grandma, we got to go get us some food stamps. Then that means everything we make is profit. You see what I'm saying?
There you go.
You gotta use the system. You know what I mean? Get a little reparations, throw that in there.
There you go.
So I was like, use the system, Grandma, let's go get some food stamps. And she was like, baby, okay. So I remember us going down to the welfare office. You know, back in the day, this was before you could do online applications.
Right.
So you had to sit out there all day. You had to wait in line, get up at 5 a.m. But they gave us the food stamps immediately before we left there. And I said, you know, they give you the temporary card. I said, Grandma, now everything we do is profit. It's all cash, because we wasn't taking food stamps. We was only using the food stamps to buy the hot dogs, and then flip that, boom.
There you go.
We're not eating up the profit. So when I did that, and then this man approached me, he was like, hey, you seem like you're good with people. You want to get people to sign the petitions. So out in LA, I used to get people to sign the petitions. You know, the political petitions.
Yeah.
Like, would you say yes or no on this proposition or whatever? Yeah, so I used to get people, he told me $1 per signature.
Ooh.
So I was like, what? So I remember calling my mom. The summer was over. I said, Mom, I'm making so much money out here, I cannot come back home. She was like, no, I think you need to come back home. And I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, you got to help me. Because I was her little friend, so she thought I was amazing helping her and stuff. And so I was making like $200-300 a week. That was just my pocket money. You know what I mean? That didn't include my grandma money.
Yeah.
So, because I was selling candy too. So I was like, yo, this city got a lot of money in it. I was like, I got to get back here. And so that's when I decided, after being in college, doing an internship, I did not like that.
Okay.
You know, I was
and
like,
where'd you go to school?
I went to Eastern Michigan University.
So you went from, is that in Michigan?
My mother ended up moving to Michigan when I was like in middle school, but I didn't end up moving with her more so until like high school. Okay. Yeah, because I used to live with my dad for some times and then go, you know, stay
But that's
with
a big
parents.
difference from nice Florida weather to Michigan weather.
You know what? When I was younger, we moved around a lot.
Okay.
That's what I tell people my childhood trauma was, because it wasn't no abuse. Like, my parents didn't even hit me, like reprimanding me for being bad or anything. They didn't even take stuff away from me, and I used to be kind of bad at sometimes, at least a little slick in the mouth, and they just look at me, and I sometimes look back, like, you know. So I had gentle parenting before it was popular.
Before it was popping,
yeah. So, you know, when my mom moved to Michigan, I was just like, oh, okay, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So what came first, chicken or the egg? Did you do stand-up first, or did you get into social media and doing all those content?
Oh, stand-up first. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people think sometimes when you do social media nowadays, because majority of the people that's really popular on social media were, if they're not already big celebrities, a lot of them started social media and transitioned into stand-up. Yes. And I think sometimes that's because they're looking forward to make money and sometimes not really truly into the art of stand-up. But no, I started stand-up October 2010 here in Los Angeles.
Where?
Yeah. It was at you know how it's one of those little spots. Yeah, so it was on, I remember it was on Sunset though.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a spot too where right after the comedy show, it used to be Mexican people would come in there and they would salsa dance.
Okay.
And sometimes towards the end of the show, depending on when you went up, they didn't care, so they ready to turn up. They already 5 Coronas in, ready for us to pack up. So then they would be so loud. Yeah, so loud in the back. And some of them, you know, they already got them cowboy boots on. They already stepping.
They had their boots on the ground, for sure.
Suavemente. That's all you heard. It was like, oh, it's time for us to go.
So you, what were some of the challenges you had as a stand-up comedian?
Stand-up comedian, the challenges that I've had is just, I think they're standard. You know, because a lot of people try to say, is it hard being a female comedian? And I look at life, is it hard being black? You know, I get asked those questions a lot. And I think that anything you want worth having in life is gonna have obstacles.
Sure.
So I don't go into something of thinking my obstacle is because I'm black. Now, do I know subconsciously? Sometimes I don't get paid as much because I'm a woman. Sometimes I don't get paid as much as because I'm black. Absolutely, but I never look at it as just like those are the obstacles ahead of me, because to me, I've traveled to other countries, and America to me is still one of the greatest places to live, and I always stand by that.
It's true.
Whether you want to talk about racism, people being prejudiced, you know, all the isms here in America, it's still one of the greatest places to live, because this is one of the only countries, like, to me, far and few in between, where you can go from nothing into something.
Absolutely.
Other countries where I've traveled to, whatever you're born into ends up being your destiny.
They have a class system.
You can't come out of that class.
Yep.
And to
That's
me,
real.
in America, I can come from 2 teenage parents who just hustled hard, who love me, and I can be a billionaire. So that's the mindset that I go into things. Yeah, but could you line me up to a white man and I can become a billionaire? He can make like 10 billion? Absolutely. But the point is, I can become a billionaire. So I never look at it, the obstacles of these things are challenging or whatever. It's just me, and I can relate to a whole bunch of people, especially because going to New York, I was performing in predominantly like white, 90%, 95% white crowds. Sometimes it's just me and 2 other black people in the audience.
Really?
So just being that I could be funny in those environments, predominantly when I do the Long Beach Laugh Factory, probably 85% Hispanic, and these people can relate to me. Anything's possible. Yeah.
For sure. Well, that's the testament to how funny you are. You're funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And you are a beautiful woman. So, you know, no, you got it going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't mean like, girl, say it.
It's true. So, I
Okay.
mean, it's like, have you had challenges with promoters or people hitting on you to get on stage or get time?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
People hit on you, but I'm okay with people shooting their shot.
Okay.
I think that's a standard dynamic between a man and a woman, is to shoot their shot. If they like you, they think they're attractive. I've walked down the street and homeless men think they got a shot. Hey, beautiful, how you doing? Where you going? It's like, sir, no. I've been hit on by a crackhead. So I'm not gonna get mad at this mega celebrity for hitting on me. Here's where I have a problem with it. If you hit on me and I say no, and then you don't want to speak to me, you go around, you telling people I'm a bitch, you know what I mean? Just making up all these different dynamics. But if you shoot your shot, I'm never offended by that. If I say no and you respect that, we can move on. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, people shoot their shot. Yeah, all the time. I mean, shit, look at me. I'm one of the best looking out here.
I love it. You mentioned celebrity. I always like to ask people this. Who was the person, have you met anybody like, oh my God, I can't believe they know me, or they're a fan, or you've got, or just gotten to meet
met
them?
people.
Okay, who you met? Starstruck.
Starstruck?
Yeah.
Oh, I met Eddie Murphy at his house.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This was like probably over 10 years ago.
Okay.
A friend of mine was like, hey girl, she was dating this guy. She was like, hey girl, we going to this house, come meet us over here. So I said, all right, send me the address. They didn't tell me whose house it was. So it was in the Hollywood Hills. So I go there, and then it looked like this resort. It looked like you just stepped onto a resort that looked like Jamaica or something. The way it was lit, the grass was just like green. It was so green that it looked fake. You know what I mean? And so this was Eddie Murphy's house. So I walk in or whatever, and I'm like with my friend and her guy friend. And Eddie Murphy comes in, he sticks out his hand. He said, "Hi, what's your name?" And I said, Daphnique. My heart was just beating. And he said, "Nice to meet you." And I was like, he never said his name. Like, what? Child, you ain't, because even if you know who I am, if you introduce yourself, I always give you the courtesy and be like, "Daphnique, nice to meet you." And he was like, "Bitch, you know who I am." You know me. And then he had a guitar in his hand. He played the guitar, and then he just disappeared. Like, I never saw him get up and leave. I don't know if he floated, if it was like ghosts. He just went through the walls. I don't know, but I never saw him again. Wow. So then we went downstairs, and then when you go into his kitchen, the chef bakes all these cakes, from what I heard, every single day. It had cakes like any cake. If you want a carrot cake, chocolate cake, it had food. They were like, "Would you like something to eat?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want some Eddie Murphy food." Okay. So, you know, we got some food. And then when you opened the refrigerator, it had any drink that you can think of categorized by each drink. It was crazy. I even organized my refrigerator like that now. My drinks, I line them up. Because back in the day, you just take a drink and throw it in there, half drunken, start opening up a new. But I was like, nah, Eddie Murphy got his stuff organized. I got to have mine organized. And then so they took us downstairs. He had a bowling alley. Mm-hmm. He had an arcade, and he had a movie theater. So we bowled. Then we went to the arcade, played the games. You didn't have to have no money. You know what I mean? And then on the wall, it was like candy, any candy that you can think of. I mean, they had candy from all over the world. And then we went to the movie theater, and then he had Batman before it was even released. Oh. Like, you remember back in the day when it kept getting leaked, so they would send it in sections to movie theaters? Mm-hmm. He had the whole movie before it even came out. What? So we in there watching, and one of his sons is in there, I guess, on a little date. And so we was talking, because we like, yo, we at Eddie's house. Oh my God. And his son was like, "Y'all don't see us watching this movie?" I was like, okay. And then I just remember leaving, and that was it. You know what? I love situations like that where you get to meet your idol. They're absolutely amazing towards you. You never feel uncomfortable, because one thing about this industry is so many people stop pursuing their dreams because they run into people that are not good people. Mm-hmm. And so that could really deter you from achieving your dreams. And what I've been blessed with is the fact that everybody that I've met has never deterred me away from my dreams because they weren't a good person, or because they were pervy, or because they were inappropriate. But I also think I have a spirit of like, I'll stab somebody if I had to. You know what I mean? If it came down to it, I don't want to do it. But if it came down to a situation where it's like, my mentality is like, yo, it's me and you know what I mean? So I think sometimes people can read that spirit on me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, don't
leave me alone.
Don't mess with Daphnique.
Let me come over your house, go to the movies, bowl, and leave respectfully.
It makes me think of one of your more viral skits. Mm-hmm. It's the one when you pull out a pew pew on your date. That is classic, and it keeps always coming up.
I started that trend.
It was
and
amazing.
I've seen it in movies. You're welcome. Because you didn't cast me.
How did that skit come about? It's so funny.
It was just, I was just thinking outside of the box, because what people, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I didn't start with the sketches there. We started on Vine.
Right.
Yeah. So originally we were doing Vine, and like, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like 2012 or 2011. I can't really remember the exact year.
People
but
don't know
one
how
of those
huge
2
Vine
years
was. Vine
we were
was
doing
huge.
Vine.
Yeah.
But I didn't think Vine would turn into anything, because it used to take us an hour and a half to shoot a 6-second sketch. I mean, you talking about crash course, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Because if anybody messed up, you had to start all the way back from the beginning. You know what I mean? If one person missed a word, a cue, you didn't fully get it out. So it would take us like a really long time. But I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, so I just stopped doing it. And then and we started to build numbers. And then certain people that I knew, like Simone Shepherd and King Batch, they stayed on the platform, and they still, they really grew into something big. But yeah, I was shooting with all of them back in Vine, and then that's when I stopped. And then I came back in 2017. I called Jahan Jones. I was like, hey man, I want to shoot some sketches, because I saw they was doing some Instagram stuff. I was like, yo, I want to come over there. Mm-hmm. And he said, meet me at King Kieran and Simone Shepherd house. And then I learned from them, and then I eventually went off to do my own thing. But Simone had said to me, she said, you got to develop your own thing, because you're in our sketches, but you'll get lost. What can you do to develop who you are? And that's when I was just like, yo, like, I have to think outside the box. And I was like, what would your spirit want to do that you can't actually do in real life? And that was just like the gun. And then that's when I just was like pulling it on Kerry, and he was like perfect with it. And those videos did billions of views. And what was so crazy is because I didn't realize until a few years ago how iconic it was. When I went to Dubai, I was walking in the mall, and it was a bunch of Muslim women, and you could only see their eyes. And as I walked through the mall, they started clapping. I was like, oh, they think I'm Whitney Houston. But no. They knew who I was, and they started bowing at me and clapping as I walked through the mall, and they all stood up. And what I realized to them, because I found out from other people, they knew the sketches over there, is that was women empowerment to them. In America, you like, oh, you crazy, you got a gun, whatever, da-da-da-da-da. But in other countries where women don't have freedoms, they can't talk to a man, because I don't know if you noticed, but Dubai is one of those countries where if you yell at a man, just even us going over there, we raise our voice, we could go to jail and don't know when you're gonna get out. So for them to see a woman actually do this and conform, and she take his wallet, can spend the money, that was like empowerment to them. So I learned that sometimes to other cultures and other people outside of here, like, because, you know, America has a lot of feminists, we're strong, we're empowered. I mean, it took a while, but we're here. And other countries are still lagging like hundreds of years behind. And so to them, it meant a lot more than what it meant here. So yeah, I was just like, and I remember my mom called me one time, and she was like, yeah, your uncle said you got that gun, ain't nobody gonna book you, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, Ma, I'm always gonna do me and be the person I wanna be. And I just feel like sometimes, you know, right or wrong, I'm gonna stick by my decision. That's just what it is. And I said, you know, I think that's negative. And you know, if you feel like that, then maybe you guys shouldn't talk to me for a while. You know, but don't ever get in my subconscious, because this industry is very, very hard to navigate. And people who never experienced it, I don't need your negativity weighing in on me when times do get hard. You see what I'm saying? And those sketches became iconic, and they just did so well. And people to this day will still walk up into me and be like, you got your gun? I'll be like, at home, it's registered. But still, people still love them, you know, especially men over 50. So your daddy loved me, you know.
I love it. You know, I just want to just step back a little bit. You mentioned Simone. And she was one of the pioneers of doing a lot of the sketches and everything. Actually, so absolutely. I just want to give her props, because she's pretty dope. But I also want to give her, because you just said something that just really struck with me. She was like, you got to get your own voice. She could have been kind of selfish, but like, no, you're part of my little troupe. But she's like, you know,
because I used to film their stuff.
Yeah, brand yourself. So
brand
that was
yourself.
Really nice.
Yeah, that was important, that she told me to brand myself and find my niche. And a lot of people don't know, sketching originally wasn't it. That's not how I grew my first 100,000 followers on Facebook, where I'm at like 5.4 million. 5.4. It was actually rants. I used to sit in the car and just say, I was like, I don't want to date any man over 30 with potential. Those videos made it all over the country. They played me on the radio in New York. People talked about me on podcasts. They would play this, because I was like, if you 50 still trying to live a dream, you're raisin in the sun. And that's how I built the first. But then I saw that might have not been so monetizable back in the day, because this was like pre-podcasting and being like a Dr. Brian and being able to tour and talk on people's podcasts, and you know what I mean, and make a living off of that and do panels and stuff. So that's when I ended up switching over to sketch.
That was smart. I mean, look at your following. It's just amazing. Just sidebar, first time I saw you, one of the first times, I mean, I saw your sketches, but you did a thing called Joker. With Will Smith, yeah. So I'm a fan.
Thank you.
No one knows about that, but it was really, really.
I like how you just threw a little shade. No one knows about that.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't talk about that when they talk about your stuff. That's what I meant.
Okay.
You know, it's just that people don't. It's more than one hidden.
It's two people knew, you and Jesus.
It's more than one hidden one.
Okay.
That people, you have so many high profile. Listen, you have a lot of followers and a lot of content. But that's the first time I saw you, and it was really.
And it was supposed to be on Quickbee, but Quickbee ended up shutting down. So I thought it was supposed to be bigger than what it was. And I think by that time they kind of like sold it, and it kind of didn't get the recognition that I felt like it deserved.
Yeah, I randomly saw it. I was like, oh, who's it? And of course, I'm seeing a Black female comedian. I'm like, who is this? And let's watch it. And it was really cool. You guys got to speak to Will Smith and everything. It was.
Yeah.
He was really
he gave us a little extra money on the side. I was like,
nice.
okay, Will, talk to me.
So I always like to ask people, if you had a Mount Rushmore of Black women in comedy, who would your 4 be? And it can be comedian, it can be actress, it can be someone who's left, passed on, it could be somebody current, it could be a sketch. 4 on the Mount Rushmore, who would they be?
You know what? I don't like questions like this. You know
Really?
why? Because I learned that it's over 32 different forms of stand-up. So if everybody has a different style, how can I compare them against each other?
Oh, no, it
and
just means your favorites.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know, but that's
yeah.
I see favorites all the time. Like I can't just always put it into a 4 like that. You know what I mean? That's just me and my weirdness. Because I see people all the time like, yo, that person's amazing. Whether you tell them or not. But if I had to pick, I would say Wanda Sykes, which I've had the pleasure of meeting her. Carol Burnett.
Black women.
Oh, Black women.
Yeah.
I gotta put Carol Barnett in there. You ain't gonna take Carol Barnett because people say when I had short hair I look like a little bit. White people always comment up on it. You a black Carol Barnett.
Look, we'll invite you to cookout. We love Carol. We love Carol.
Okay, Melanie Camacho.
Love her. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do 5 then.
Okay.
Okay, Wanda Sykes, Melanie Camacho, B Flat.
Love
she
her.
sings. Yeah, I always
She
really
plays
liked her.
instruments. Yeah, I interviewed her.
Yeah, she's very talented. It's like a female Jamie Foxx.
She really is. I love that you said B flat. Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. I can't compare her against Melody, who just stands there and delivers her jokes just rapid fire.
Killer. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, some more. So that's the 4.
Love it. Love it. And we featured all of them, and those are some great women. I just like to always give props. And
the amazing part, I've gotten to meet all of them.
Have you?
And they all been very sweet to me.
Very good. I love it. Queens supporting queens. That's what
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Only time I really get pushback from female comedians usually when they're big girls, the famous ones. Yeah, they're not so nice all the time.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like.
Really?
It's like, girl, I didn't sleep with nobody here. Why you mad at me? Just here to work.
They're afraid you're gonna, or you're gonna take their man or something.
Nobody's man.
No.
I don't want nobody's man. I'm heterosexual, but 9 times out of 9.99999%, your man is safe around me. I don't want him. That's why I stay by myself.
A lot of your comedy is about dating and
Yeah.
different encounters, which is always so funny. And one of your, like I said, I'm a fan. Your joke you have about wanting like a dad bod now, like that he seems like that stability, going past from the 8-pack to the little love handles. Do you feel that men think you're talking about them, for lack of a better, like, oh, what about that? You want some of this, girl? Do you get that when you do that joke?
Oh, like in person?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. But most of the time, when you go to comedy shows, I would say it's like over 90% couples. So I feel like it's a body positivity joke for men because women just like, see, you got that little stomach. And I'm like, yeah, because I can tell he got a good job.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, he got a retirement fund. He pay bills. He probably got a whole bunch of keys. Because as you get older, too, it's important for a man to have a whole bunch of keys. Because broke men only have like 1 or 2 keys. An old car key and a roommate apartment key. But when you date a grown man, he got a storage key because he got a storage. They let him have the keys from the company at his job. You know what I mean? He got his mama's key because he need to go over there and check on the house. You know what I mean? He got other properties. He just got keys. Like, I love an older man where he just walk by and just jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle. I'm like, okay, Zaddy. Yeah, thighs rubbing together, knock knee, but okay, you got keys.
I love the way you
can
think.
open this door.
I love the way you think. That's some real stuff. And I love that you produced your own special. And we've seen it. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So funny.
It's up on Tubi now, too.
It's on Tubi. We've posted some of the stuff. We support you. We think it was amazing. And so you got a lot of views on YouTube for it. And it's called Single Female. And why'd you name it that?
Because just navigating life like that, So I just felt like, I wanted to put that out there because that was a stage in my life where I was single and I just wanted it to talk about all the obstacles that I went through.
And, props to you because you produced it yourself. What made you take the leap and just like, you know what, I'm going to do my own special? Because
I feel like we live in a time nowadays where unlike any other moment in this industry that I know of, at least within the people that are still alive from back in the day to this time, is that it's the time of independent artists, and you can produce and do things. And sometimes it makes me feel confident to be able to produce and do my own things, because to me, I'm saving myself from becoming bitter. Because to me, I've met some of the most talented people in the world, but they just never like made it to a certain level, never made the money, never did this. And it creates a bitterness and a hate. I've been around comedians who are older that just hate on younger comedians and say, and it's not their fault. It's the industry's fault. Like, how did you bypass this gem?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now I have the power to build my own fans. But back in the day, I felt like even like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you had to be chosen. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And you could have two people equally talented, but just one gets chosen by the industry and they could propel you into a star. And I think nowadays we have the ability to kind of build things up on our own and get things out there. Because remember back in the day, you had ABC, CBS, NBC. And if you didn't get on one of those, then it was no other platform for you. But nowadays you can literally find a distributor and have them submit your stuff to BET plus, Tubi, Netflix, and all these different other platforms, Peacock, and have your movie or special stream on there and collect revenue from that. And so, that empowered me to just go ahead and produce, and being at an amazing venue like, the Comedy Cellar in New York, they don't charge us anything.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
They're
supportive
a great
of the
room.
comedian.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they already have a built-in audience.
They sure do.
My fans came out, but they also have a built-in audience. You do 2 shows and boom, they set you up for success.
That's wonderful. Well, kudos to them. That's
Well,
what we should support.
I don't know. They may charge the next person, maybe.
They hooked you up.
I don't want nobody to be like, Daphnique said. I ain't say shit.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations, because it really is good. Now, before you said, were you a chemistry major? Is that what you said? So what did you think you were going to do in life?
I wanted to work at either a pharmaceutical company or like in cosmetics.
Okay. And what made you say, you know what, this is not for me?
I worked at a pharmaceutical company as an intern. I was like, this shit boring as hell. I can't come here every day.
No more.
No.
I understand. I have a different path and different way with law. Like, no, I can't do it. So I always like to ask people also, what is a dream project? What is like, shoot for the stars? What is the project that you would love to do?
3-movie picture deal.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be in a Marvel film.
Okay. What kind of character? I like to put things in the universe. Like,
like a Storm, or even just a Catwoman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see all of that.
Or something like Deadpool, a character in Deadpool.
Yes.
Where slick with the mouth, can go back and forth with Ryan Gosling. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And how important is it as a comedian to be a good writer?
I think it's important until you make it to a level, because the next level I'm trying to go to, I'm trying to have some writers.
For
so
sure.
I'm going to keep doing all the work.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah,
and how do you
that's
feel?
in the Book of Power.
Yeah.
48 Laws of Power.
That's right.
You got to delegate some work.
That's right.
And if I can get somebody to write some amazing jokes, I could work with you. We write together. I'm not opposed to it. But right now I'm writing everything. You know what I mean? I think it's important for people to tell their story, though. A lot of comics, which I had to get out of that, where everybody's telling the joke. How is it to date? It's like the top 2 jokes of black comedians is dating older men, dating older women. Like that's
so real.
Yeah, that's how you know they haven't evolved.
That's so real. Oh my gosh. And what if someone wants to start in comedy? What advice would you give them to be in either a comedian or even doing social? What advice
Leave
would you
us
give?
alone. We oversaturated. Nah, just joking. Just put it out there. Yeah. If it's good or bad, ugly, put it out there.
And something that's taboo that comes up in conversations too, how do you feel about, and people have different opinions on it, about joke stealing? Do you feel something like, I could write another joke, or some people think that's the worst thing that a comedian could do, is steal somebody else's joke?
I got accused of stealing a joke one time from a female comedian. And I didn't see the similarity. I got accused twice. I didn't see the similarity of what she was saying, but I said, what you don't know is I record every set. I said, so if you feel like, I said, give me your number. I called her. I said, if you felt like I sold your joke, post the joke up. We'll post mine side by side, and I will backdate it for you because most videos are uploaded to YouTube. I have videos on YouTube back since 2012, I believe. So, and then I voice record everything in my phone. I never go on stage and not record. I don't care if I'm on tour with Martin Lawrence, whoever. I am voice recording every single set. I have 125 gigabytes versus full of voice memo. So if you think I stole your joke, call me out. Wow. I'll meet you there. Yeah, because I'm gonna pull up some archives for you. Now I may have to get back to you in a week, but I'm gonna pull it up for you. And I said, well, call me out on it. If you think it, I said, come on, I'll backdate you. I got time today, because sometimes it takes me years, like 2 years to develop a joke or whatever. And people have parallel thoughts. And then, so that was one time that deaded it. You know, she never said nothing else about it. And then I was like, I got to evolve as a stand-up comedian, because if I was talking about older men, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so I was like, I got to stop talking about this kind of stuff, because it could be conceived it is similar to somebody else, even though we could have both experienced the same thing. For sure. Yeah, and it was only one word. Like I said something about an oil change. It was that simple. I was like, girl. And so I was just like, I just got to evolve it and just be better. And then I did a joke about Black Lives Matter. And it was like, we were out there marching, and this girl was like, we got to stop, killing, the police got to stop killing like black men. And I was like, you done had like 5 abortions. So you get what I'm saying? So I said, you kill more black men than the police. You see what I'm saying? In your city. So, they said it was a similar joke to a white comedian, which he just talked about abortion, equated it towards it could be possibly murder, but it wasn't the same joke. Right. And that was some white people attacking me. And so I said, I wrote them in the comments. I said, if you feel like, have him call me out. I said, because you don't mean nothing. He never said nothing. Right. So clearly, you know what I mean? I just took a situation that really happened and thought about it. I know somebody who's had 9 abortions. So I'm like, yo, you can't be talking about cops killing nobody. You see what I'm saying? For sure. But that's just that's something that's subjective. You see what I'm saying? So I was just like, okay, so yeah. But yeah, people sometimes have parallel thoughts, but then hopefully I'm right in these days about my experience, and God damn, you really stole my life. But if it's possible, if people do it, it's a comedian that I feel like does it, and but I just tell myself I just got to be better. I just got to keep going. And plus I post all my content. Yeah, you do. You post a lot, and it's funny because there's like a fine line. Some comedians don't post any of their sets, but you embrace it and you post all yours. You post a lot more than because I'm posting for the world.
Yeah.
So people so focused that somebody might see it and come to a show. It's just like music. I feel like I don't think people want some comedians that have been touring for the last 20 years doing the same jokes, and they still can sell out weekends at a comedy club. For sure. Because it's just like when I went to the Brandy and Monica concert, when they start singing their new music, I'm like, what?
That's real. You want to hit the classics?
I want you to go back. I want you to hit those notes, because I don't know none of this new stuff, and I don't want it.
You had the pleasure, you said before, you toured with 2 giants, Martin Lawrence and Katt Williams. What were there any fun stories of touring? Or did you learn anything from either of them?
With Katt, you learn a lot. I learned that comedy at a high level was possible, because the first time I toured with Katt was 2014. So that was kind of early on in my career, because I had started comedy October 2010. I stopped for 2 years in between that time. I just really started back by the time I had got a chance to go on tour with Katt. So just being able to see comedy at that high level, I was like, yo, this is possible. It's possible. Yeah. And sometimes you got to be in it to feel like it's possible. Because even when I was a young kid, I grew up middle class, but I remember my dad, he never had like the house like my mom and stuff. But I remember when we used to go fishing on the ocean, you see all these beautiful homes, and he said, you can have one of those houses one day. So just being in proximity of believing, I think things are possible. You can kind of maneuver through life. Because I'm not working off comedy now at the level of like, I can just probably get on TV and probably go do weekends in no-name cities. I'm working off the comedy, off the mindset now because of Katt Williams and Martin Lawrence that, boom, one day I'm about to get to that level. I'm just here. This bullshit. It didn't sell out. I ain't sell out this weekend. I ain't sell out next weekend. But then I hear people tell the same stories about Kevin Hart, how he wasn't selling. Now he doing arenas. So now I look at the vision of, I walked on that stage. I've seen that audience sold out with the most people I ever performed in front of was 20,000. I seen that. So I know it's achievable. I just got to do it on my own. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's important never to always just set your mindset to be a feature.
For sure.
Yeah, you want to be a headliner.
Yeah. And what about Martin? Any fun stories about that tour?
With his family, you know, they be back there trying to roast and stuff like that. But we don't see Martin till afterwards, which I understand. Some people, they want their peace and stuff like that, you know, before they. And sometimes he may come into the arena when I'm already on stage. So sometimes you don't have that interaction till later. For sure. But yeah, but my family, he meets everybody in my family. The craziest story I have with him is my cousin. She real hood. I'm from South Florida, where a lot of my family members got gold teeth and everything. You know what I mean? And my cousin, she real loud, and she started drinking. I had tequila in the room. She started hitting him, and she grabbed Martin by the neck and was like, "Nigga, you don't know me." And I was like, and Martin I was like, this bitch is gonna have me not on another show ever. I was like, girl, let him go. And Martin just kind of laughed, because I think he probably saw her as a character that he had never seen before, because he kind of looked, but he was just like, and we had to get your arm from around his neck. Your crazy ass.
Oh my gosh.
My cousin crazy.
But you stayed on the tour.
Yeah, they asked me to do more dates. Okay. So I was like, thank God. I go back down there and slap the shit out of her. Slap that wig twisted.
What do you think of something that's really come up with comedians lately is crowd work? Do you embrace it, or do you think some people think it's lazy work, but some think it's hard work? What's your opinion on crowd work?
I embrace it. I think that things are always going to evolve. And people that are stuck in the mentality of shooting stuff down, they don't post none of their content. They still doing the same set for 20 years. It's a bitter hate thing. You get what I'm saying? I just think that really I embrace all things. And I think that, to me, I'm constantly trying to learn. Like right now, I'm trying to learn AI. You see what I'm saying? So what AI tools can I use to implement what I'm doing now and to further get to the next level? And then one day you're going to say, oh, she a hologram. She out here using holograms. Because when I pop up in your living room and start performing like, what up, family? They're going to be like, that's cheating. You need to do shows live. You're always going to have naysayers. You're always going to have supporters. I think anybody doing anything and able to build an audience is absolutely amazing, because you live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, America, and anything's possible here. Anything. And for you to build up, I support that. And I do crowd work. People love it. You know what I love about crowd work is the fact that I have now stepped outside of my comedy set that I do in every single city, and I put my focus in on you, this person in this particular city, whether it be Louisville, whether it be Nashville, whether it be Philly, whether I go to Atlanta, whether I'm in Chicago. I have now forgot everything I know, right? And do and perform. And I have now put my focus in on you and made you and your city special.
That part. That's a great way to look at it. Great way. But I just had a vision also when you were just saying that you doing stand up in someone's living room.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a hologram.
There you go. I see it. Wow.
Yeah, right. It went from the laptop stuff to the virtual show, but yeah, I'm gonna be a hologram.
There you go. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Daphnique, you are so funny.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a big fan. We love you at Comedy Divas. Keep doing what you're doing. I just see great things for you.
Thank you.
You're about to be on the billboards. No. Listen, you just getting better.
Oh, thank you.
And you're going to be on the billboards. You're going to have your own show. You're going to have your own movies. I see all of it for you because you're so talented and you are so open to so many different lanes. That is just destined for you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being a Comedy Diva.
Okay.
And thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please comment on the wonderful Daphnique. And we are going to see you next time. I'm Sharon B. Thank you for being here for the Girl Talk podcast. Bye.
Comedy Divas, we run this town. Run this